Best bit of all of that from your team today?
Well, we were happy doing our job, and the most, always we talk about that, how privileged we are doing a job like we can make during 92 minutes happy our people. So better than that cannot be possible.
We let the fans down, we let ourselves down, and so I'm hugely disappointed. But we have to live with it, and we have to learn from it. We were not front foot in the defense organization. We were not brave on the ball, and there were spaces to play, but we didn't find the spare man, or we were not brave enough to play under pressure. We get undisciplined in following rules and principles, and you get hammered, and that's happened today.
3 hat-tricks in 3 home games. That is some achievement. Have you ever been close to that before?
No, I don't think so. I never did that before, and it's amazing. I felt it a couple of days before the game that something special is going to happen, and we saw today some special things happened, and it was nice.
How good can Erling Haaland be? I mean, he can't be at the peak yet, is he?
Well, the limit he will decide. You have in many clubs, the egos, and it's completely the opposite. One of the reasons why he settles so quick is because he has a good mates playing alongside to him, and when that's happened, make the life easier.
Well, life looked very easy for them today, didn't it? I mean, they were sensational, all of them. You could probably do analysis on every single City player. We'll talk about Haaland in a moment. You're going to look at the 2 wide players first of all, though.
Yeah, I think for me, Grealish set the tempo. Obviously, Foden got his hat-trick, and we're all going to talk about Haaland, but I think Grealish has come under a lot of pressure, and we're going to see on the VT now that he's the guy who actually set the tempo. He got that yellow card after 1 minute, which we're not seeing there, but at the start of the game, obviously, United are sitting back in, but Foden and Grealish come in kind of like 2-10s, as you can see in this position now. And they're just working it, just making United run around, chase the ball. But here is where they're occupying great space here, which makes Eriksen come across. That Varane doesn't know whether to go or not. First goal. And this all came just by them coming inside. As soon as they got the goal, went back to what they know, high and wide. Grealish coming in, looking like the Grealish from Aston Villa. He spoke about being a bit more direct, getting goals, getting assists, and that's what we like to see Jack doing. But look here, Foden's position here is perfect. He's making the left back look over right shoulder, left shoulder, doesn't know where he is. As this comes in, look, he's got no idea where he is, and another day could have went in the top corner, but they were sensational, and I think these 2 really drove the game. Kevin De Bruyne was a joke as well, as he always is, but this is what I want to see more of Jack doing. Getting at him, could have easily went down, but he said he wants to get more goals, more assists into his game. And I think this is a key one as well. For any young player that's watching, look at the desire. 80 metres Phil Foden covers up here. And just watch this. Gets up to speed and just coasts and stays 20 miles an hour. Like, some people's cars can't do that. You know what I mean? As consistently as that. He's there, and the desire to go and score is world class. And again, finally up on Jack, getting into this position. Look how many Man United players are there. And I know Jermaine's going to go to it, but again, driving, forward passes. Haaland do the same, forward pass, 2 touch. Thank you very much. And they were unbelievable.
And for Grealish in particular, actually, a lot of criticism at City driven at players and taking them on, that he gets it and maybe cuts inside or then just lays it off.
Being a bit safe.
But that was, as you say, the Grealish of old. Yeah,
that's what we want to see. I think not only for Man City, but for England as well. If we get those 2 playing at their peak and powers, it's only going to be good for the national team. So it's great to see, and I'm glad that Jack's doing well. £100 million price tag is a difficult thing to live up to, and he's starting to feel his boots.
Look, there are Haaland stats coming out. We could do a whole show on just Erling Haaland stats after that. The fastest player to 3 Premier League hat-tricks by 40 appearances. I mean, that's how quickly he's done it. Michael Owen second on 48. He had more touches as well for Manchester City today than he's had in any other game. So there were a couple of assists for Foden, which maybe shows what Pep Guardiola's trying to do with it.
Yeah, his game's going to evolve. There's no doubt about that. He's playing under the best coach in Europe. It's as simple as that, and with some of the best players in the world. And doing that day in, day out, and the different things that are going to be asked of him, and the different ways he's going to work out how to find space. We're just scratching the surface with this player, and that is the scary thing. I mean, we could do clips this week, next week, whatever week.
Yeah.
But, you know, we picked Grealish and Foden this week because we just felt that from an attacking point of view, you know, it was two special performances, as it could have been for any City player.
Give me a fellow striker's appreciation of him before.
Oh, for me, R9, Thierry, him.
Really?
Yeah, he's that good. For me, he can come short, he can link in behind, jump, right foot, left foot, and he loves scoring. He's always in that 6-yard box. Special player. We should be grateful that we're watching it.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, on to the latest calamitous shambles.
Say that again.
Said on to the latest calamitous shambles.
Okay, right, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Or shambolic calamity, if you want it the other way around.
Look, it was not pretty viewing for any United fan or anybody that was involved with the football club. I think with and without the ball, it was just shocking to see at times. I don't know whether the kind of pressing height, Rashford has to be having more of an impression on Nathan Ake there. For him to just drift out, get his head up, switch a ball, and all of a sudden Malacia has now got to deal with a 2v1 situation where we've seen City score from that exact scenario time and time again, is not good enough. You're supposed to be defending from the front and setting the tone. The goal that goes in, again, I don't see any leaders in there. You know, Phil Foden finds himself in a situation where he's surrounded by 6 United players. Not one of them got the initiative to say, I'll take him. Eriksen's the man who should be doing it. He's right next to him. But what about, where's Rans pointing, saying we've got a problem here? Pick him up, Eriksen, or having a look around and dictating what's supposed to be happening around him. He's just drifted in, Foden, and it's an unbelievable finish. Now, Ten Hag says, not brave on the ball, people hiding. We've got 5 Man City players around McTominay. Who wants the ball here? He's under pressure from Bernardo Silva. Which one of these United players that are hiding behind City are going to go, why don't Varane come into there? If Kyle Walker was with City, he would have drifted into there and helped out his teammate, not helping each other out. It's poor from McTominay as well as that, and they end up putting themselves under pressure. This is one of the worst clips I'd seen all day, this, for me. You know, Marcus Rashford, just turn. You're one of the quickest players in the league. Turn and do what you was born to do, which is attack. And he doesn't do that, no confidence, loses the ball. Now, this kind of scenario for United was a good one. You've got City kind of pinned in. All you'll want to hear right now is don't let them out. Dalot lets them down. Why has he not gone in there? Everything that I'm showing you here, it's like, it's a big concern as to kind of what they're working on. Dalot lets you down at one end. Get on the cover at the other end as well, because although it's an incredible ball, you could have done something. You could put your body in, help out Varane. Those partnerships are not there from what I'm seeing. Now, we've got a situation here where Akanji picks up the ball in his own 18-yard box, right? Now, as he drives out, you've got 6 United players. That is just ridiculous. He just ghosts by 6 United players, and with one pass from his 18-yard box, again, a fullback is having to deal with a 2v1 situation. Now, Dalot does really well on that occasion and blocks the pass, but it wasn't sustainable. You can't keep up that level against Manchester City. You've got the best player in the league in acres of space. You've got a player in Gomez who came on who was absolutely brilliant, I thought, with a willingness, a desire to run and get forward, puts it on a plate for an absolute goal-scoring machine. There's a lot of really concerning signs. I watched a team today who didn't look like they knew what they were doing, like both ends of the pitch, with or without the ball. And who to blame with that? Whether it's the manager, the players, it's all one for me.
I mean, for all that the players, and you pointed out, and for all, you know, they didn't track back and they weren't showing that energy. Is there an element of questioning Ten Hag as well? Some of the gaps between the different areas were huge. And Casemiro was on the bench.
That's one of the most ridiculous things I'd seen this week, to be honest with you. I'm thinking you've brought a Champions League winner who is known for dictating that area of the pitch and is sat on the bench watching that today. If there was ever a game for him to be starting, it was this one today. So the manager has to take some responsibility for that performance today.
I think as well, if you are Casemiro, you know, Scott McTominay's doing well, his game, Fred's game, you've got to be going, hold on, I was playing the Champions League final a few months ago and I can't get into this team. His job at Real Madrid was win it back, give it to his better players. You've got Eriksen, you've got Fernandes. That's the role he's been brought in to do. Go and do it. But I think that there's gaps, as you spoke about. I think that goes back to what Jermaine said, though, leadership. Who's doing that? Because you don't need a manager to tell you that.
Yeah.
Get it. Once they get through, we saw it with Spurs the other day. Get back in, be low block, make it hard to beat. that wasn't there, and unfortunately, they paid the price for it.
And on those scary Erling Haaland numbers, that is 100 club appearances, 103 goals in that time, 15 career hat-tricks, first player ever to score 3 consecutive home Premier League hat-tricks, and he is the quickest of 3 Premier League hat-tricks. He's beaten Michael's record by 40 games. And today, again, 40. We saw his all-round game at the very top once again.
Yeah, we did. I thought, especially early on in the game, there was a large amount of this first half where he wasn't really, I wouldn't say doing much, but he wasn't
touching the ball.
Yeah, he wasn't involved that much, but there was a few times he did come short and did get the ball and get involved, which surprised me a little bit. And then he just kind of just built into the game, and as he does, he's just in the areas where he needs to be to score goals, and his movement and his hunger and desire to get on the end of things that do come in the box in between those 2 posts is just frightening.
You saw his facial expression there. Pep Guardiola's just used a great expression. He always looks starving, he said, for goals.
That's what you want from your striker, especially when he's putting them away like that. If you the same when Mo was playing, he always looked like, just get me the ball there, put it in behind, I want to run on it, and I want to put it in the back of the net. And I think he's bringing that little edge to City.
It's very selfish, and you know,
aren't you?
You do have to be that type, and it's not nice to sort of admit and say, but it is. You've got to be so hungry for goals, because if you're not, then you just don't score them simply, and you're a player that doesn't reach the heights. So these top strikers, like Haaland, they might smile off the pitch, but when they cross that white line, they turn into absolute monsters. Selfish, arrogant, all these things that are not words that I'm, Greedy, yeah, go on, I'm sure you could keep calling...
You say selfish, yeah.
Yeah, I said selfish. But they're all words that you never want to be called off the pitch, but on the pitch, fine, call me what you want.
Well, I think those 6 names on that list would all be in that category, wouldn't they? Van Nistelrooy, Torres, Cole, Suarez.
It's the only way to be, and it's not something you're proud of, because
they live for scoring goals, don't they? Yeah.
But that's the thing.
They don't care about
when we're talking, we're having a laugh off camera, or you're in another dressing room and you finish your career. You're actually the butt of most of the jokes, because you weren't not the team player, but you're a little bit different because you were so selfish, and everybody else jokes with you. Oh yeah, if you scored a hat trick but you lost 4-3, then you would have been happy, though, type of thing. And
that's true, though.
And it is.
I've got first-hand
that's the thing.
I tell that Ruud van Nistelrooy story with Paul all the time.
Yeah.
They are the most important parts of a team, though.
Yeah. But this incredible
scoring goals, the hardest thing to do.
When you beat Newcastle 6-0 and Van Nistelrooy didn't score, and he stormed out like you'd lost 6-0 because he hadn't scored.
Devastated. If we got to beat 5-1 and he scored the one, he'd be delighted, wouldn't he? I swear to God, that's all he was bothered about. Scoring goals. He lived for scoring goals. And they're all the same. They only think about themselves. Scoring goals. He started the team, won the game, and thanks for that.
Just a quick question: has he changed in any way?
What do you think?
Off the pitch, I don't really care about myself. On the pitch, it's fair comment.
From a United point of view today, did they help themselves, particularly in the wide areas at times, the way they started the game?
Not really, but I think we all know that Pep Guardiola attacks those wide areas. I mean, I was reading a bit about both teams before the game, and Manchester City are actually the team in attack that have the widest players constantly throughout this season so far. Manchester United are actually the 18th, so they play very, very narrow as an attack. But when you watch Manchester City, they've always got the players wide, and then they always double up. And we saw loads of occasions, especially in the first half, where it was 2v1 in those areas. It started up right at the start of the game, this is. And how Manchester United keep this out of their net is unbelievable. Brilliant defending. But again, we see them doubling up in these areas. Even if it's a wide midfield, if it's a midfielder like De Bruyne, he'll come over and overload. And it's a common theme with Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, especially with this run that Kevin's done. I think he does it time and time again, and it's hard to pick up because it leaves a fullback in quite a vulnerable position to make a decision. Does he stay in tight or does he go wide? And he has to stay inside, because if he doesn't, then De Bruyne just runs in that area anyway. And they're just always available, running off the back of people. And like Scholesy said, I kind of felt sorry for Eriksen in this, because he can't pick up those sort of runs. He wasn't built to do that.
No, he wasn't. And, I remember when wingers used to help fullbacks. These fullbacks get exposed there, and they're probably two United's probably weaker players defensively, and that's why he'll target that area. So if Sancho, for instance, on the left-hand side doesn't come back and help Malacia, it's then down to Eriksen, who doesn't want to do that. The last thing he wants to do is vacate the middle of the pitch. But because the wingers don't come back, or they're not told to come back, he just exposes everything because he's got to sprint out to try and look after De Bruyne and the wide player.
He's strong on the lack of belief, lack of discipline there today.
I can see the lack of discipline one, because I think a lot of goals could have been avoided. A lot of mistakes were made up the pitch, really, and City broken. And created chances and scored goals. Look, they're a fantastic team. The lack of belief, I don't really see the lack of belief, because it's difficult to get the ball. So it's hard to see if there was a lack of belief and can they keep the ball against such a great team. They hardly ever see the ball in ours. And then them games, 4 games you talk about, the Liverpool game, the Arsenal game, he said there was a belief in the way they played, but there wasn't really. There was fight and there was spirit, which you mentioned there at the end. There wasn't really that today, which was disappointing in a big Manchester derby.
And you felt the third goal that Erling Haaland scored was a real example of United today.
Well, I thought a lot of the goals were avoidable. Sancho made a mistake for the first one, but if you watch Darlow, this is almost like they're practicing through the week, they're doing 11v11 through the week. When you lose a ball, go back to your position. Just go back to your position. Sometimes you've got to ignore that. You've got to see what's happening on the pitch and do something for yourself. So, can you go back there? Sorry, if you could just move that back for me. If you see him, he jogs back into a position where there's nobody there. Keep going, sorry. Right now, if you stop there, he could affect the ball by going to Jack Grealish. He doesn't do that. Go on, you can carry on now. He carries on jogging now. He could affect the ball there, just jogs past him into space. He could have actually gone out to Bernardo Silva, I think it is. Anthony could have done something about it. Again, he's just walking. He allows the ball to go there. It brings McTominay out to, I think it's Bernardo Silva, and then it leaves the middle of the pitch wide open. But even then, after Darlow not going out to the wide player, he could have gone into Grealish. He does nothing, absolutely nothing. He's just jogged into his position and still does nothing. And it leaves Eriksen absolutely stranded. We said he doesn't play the position that well anyway. He doesn't know what to do. Do a drop, do a go against him, ends up doing nothing. And we all know the quality De Bruyne has to Haaland, and he's left in no man's land.
It's the risk, isn't it, about playing a high press. I mean, the easy thing is to, when you lose the ball, all run back and just have a team block on the, wherever it might be, but normally a deep team block. If you're going to do that, if you're going to press high, which is what I think Manchester United should do, they're quality enough to do it, then everybody's got to do their job, because one mistake like that, if one player runs into a poor position and they've got one extra body, they're so good they'll pick you apart, and all of a sudden you've got 5 players that are trying to press out of the game, and you are dead against Manchester City. So, it's one or the other. What do you do? And they've sort of tried to do it half-heartedly. One player's let the whole thing down, and then all of a sudden, it's another goal.
OK, well, Manchester United used substitutes today. Anthony Martial, of course, scored a penalty. But one man who didn't come on was Cristiano Ronaldo. And Erik ten Hag was asked why that was after the game.
I wouldn't bring him in because we are 4-0 down. Out of respect for Cristiano, for his big career. And the other thing, there was then the advantage. I could bring Anthony Martial. He needs the minutes. But I don't want to point it out like that.
If you were Cristiano Ronaldo, would you accept that out of respect?
Fuming. Absolutely fuming. I think if, saying out of respect, not bring him onto the football pitch because of the stature of the man and the result that was going on. No way. That you can see in his face, he's determined to get on the pitch and try and affect the game. Somehow, look, it's impossible. They're in an impossible situation. But if you ask him, if the manager goes to him, said, do you want to stay here or go out onto that football pitch, he would be desperate to get on that football pitch. Absolutely desperate.
Yeah, he's not contributed to them being 4-0 down at half-time, has he? So, he's sat there probably thinking, if I was on the pitch, I could have done this and this and this. And, Certainly not. I mean, that's what you're paid for, to play football. Doesn't matter whether you're 4-0 up, 4-0 down, whatever it might be. Then, you know, get me on and let me show the world what I can do. If that's what he genuinely believes, then fair enough. You know, it's a very kind thing to think. You know, I'm not going to do this.
You wouldn't accept that,
But
would you?
I don't think if that's the case,
No
I'm not
player
sure he
should.
knows what an elite player thinks.
Yeah.
And how, you know, how they're tuned.
Exactly. Even at half time, he's thinking, we're 4-0 down. We've not had a shot. Get me on that pitch. And then he sees Martial come on. Martial, who comes on, who hasn't played, he's been injured, he's played half a game. He'd be going off his nut, honestly, to try and play a game.
Yeah, I would have said the same. I think that was the kicker for him when Martial comes on and he's sitting there. I think the camera went onto his face and you could just see the anger and the frustration and rage within him that he got on before me, basically. So I'm surprised he didn't get on.
Because the thing is with Cristiano Ronaldo, we know his age, but 699 career goals. Whether he's in the stands, he's on the bench, he comes on, he comes off. It's a story, isn't it? It's a talking point. That's why Ten Hag's getting asked about not bringing him on today when they needed a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, he's not what he was, but he's still got a lot to offer. He's still good enough to walk into this team. He must just be sat there thinking, Martial getting on ahead, he's better than me. Or half of the other players that have started, he's better. Even if I'm going, you know, getting a little bit older and a little bit slower, I'll still score twice as... I can put a blindfold on and still score more than these lot put together.
He'll think he can start the game.
Absolutely.
Of course
and
he
he
will.
should. And he should think
yeah,
that.
them superstars, they have belief, never ever think they should be sat on a bench. Ever. However they've played in the game before, they don't care. I should be playing, I should be out on that pitch. I'm Cristiano Ronaldo, I will score us goals. But he'll be thinking about all game, and then he watches that at half time, that first half, and don't get on again, and brings Martial on. Red rag to a bull.